Today is Friday, the 12th of May. I'm here to close out my weekly reading vlog. I realized that I didn't vlog yesterday. I had every intention to. I just didn't get around to it. Not that I had anything that exciting to say, but I didn't get a chance to. However, that means that this week's vlog might be a little bit shorter, which is probably good because the last couple ones have been, well, the 2 weeks ago was much longer than I thought it would be. And then last week's was a little bit longer than I thought it would be. But anyway, I'm going to start, as usual, I'm going to start the vlog. We'll go through the vlog and then I will do kind of a wrap up at the end. So I will see you in a bit. Today is Cinco de Mayo, May 5th. My last week's vlog is up. I know I look a hot mess right now. I just spent like the last hour tearing my house apart looking for some forms for my Girl Scout troop, which I could not find. So I have to have the parents like fill out new forms. I did find last year's forms and I'm afraid I may have thrown the wrong year's away. Oh well. Anyway, the reason I am vlogging right now is, I'm sorry, I'm just like, ugh, and I expect my daughter to come in any moment saying she can't find something. But I realized that I already have, when I decided to do Mental Health May, I chose 2 books I would definitely read. I now have 3 books. I'm still reading 1, but 3 books for Mental Health May. None of them are the one of the 2 that I said I would read. I am still reading Hello Beautiful, and it has quite a mental health component to it that I did not realize, and it's done incredibly well. This book is so beautifully written. I'm a little stressed by it, just by the story, but it's so beautifully written. This is Napolitano's, I believe it's her 2nd book. Her previous book, or her first book, was Dear Edward, which I didn't really have an interest in reading because I know it's about a plane crash, and I'm a pretty white knuckle flyer as it is. So I didn't want to read it, but I was just so taken today by it that I went and I put a hold on Dear Edward. And I know there's a TV show. I think Sue Jackson has been watching it and enjoying it. So once I read Dear Edward, which will be down the road because I'm on a 10-week wait for it at the library. Once I read that, I'm going to watch the TV show, but I'm really liking Hello Beautiful. More than I thought I would, actually. So there you go. But anyway, I think I am all packed for Girl Scout camp. I'll try to get some video of whatever I'm doing. I could be sitting on my tush doing nothing but reading. That would be really nice, actually. Or I might be hiking and doing all sorts of things. Who knows? Anyway, we will see. I really can't wait for like Sunday afternoon when I'm home, but oh well. There we go. And we'll see what comes. So I'm at Camp Yamhill. I am not reading. I am helping out with the canoers. So I'm like taking paddles, tightening life jackets, and it's not raining. It was raining earlier, but whatever. It's almost lunchtime. I'm gonna get a break, which is good because I'm tired. So we're getting ready for campfire. This is really pretty. There's a river over there. Trying not to show anyone's faces because you know they might not be on YouTube, but anyway, I don't think you can see anybody's face. Anyway, this is where we're doing campfire. Hello. It is Monday, May 8th. We survived Girl Scout camp. I want to introduce you to someone. We don't know what his name is, and he's not our dog, but I found him in my car this morning. I'd actually seen him earlier in the day. He was standing right behind my car, so I kind of shooed him away so I could go to the grocery store. And then when I came back, I started loading groceries into the car, and he's just like Happy's a clam here. As I took load in, he apparently jumped in the back of the car or the door that was open before I had locked it, and then he wouldn't come out. So my daughter, who's home from school today, say hi, Lily. She was not feeling well after camp. I think she's just really, really sore. It was kind of a busy camp. She's taking the day off. Yeah. She coaxed him in, and we have him in our backyard, and I'm like posted on Nextdoor and Facebook, and I remember trying to find this guy's owner, but I thought I would just share this here. Not that any of you probably are his owner. I just thought I would share that this is something interesting. Hi, interesting that's happening. And someone who's not liking this is that one right there. She is not happy about this situation. But yes, we don't know what this dog's name is. My cameras, I have it upside down from the way I usually do it. This is why it looks like I'm looking. Oh boy. Oh, His thing is... that's weird. His thing is buzzing. Okay, I was gonna talk about books, but now I don't think I am. Bye. Okay. Sorry about that last video. The dog has been reunited with his family. This is quite a story. So our next door neighbors, we thought they have 6 dogs. They probably only have 5. They only have 5. We also thought they were all terriers, which is why we didn't think that the Chihuahua belonged to them. Anyway, so what happened was, okay, the dog was in my car. We brought him back. My daughter was like keeping him company, and I posted like on Facebook and Nextdoor that we'd found this dog, put his picture up, and I filled out a found dog report with Animal Services. That's important to the story. So we're sitting out there wondering, like, I was thinking I should take him to a vet to get chipped to see if he has a chip, but I didn't want to do that right away because I was pretty sure he was in our neighborhood, and I didn't want to go do that and then have people come looking for it. So I was going to wait at least until my son got home. He should be home any minute. Anyway, so we're sitting in the backyard, and all of a sudden our next door neighbor comes, and she opens the door and she starts rattling off these names. And then all of a sudden she screams, "Where the F are all the dogs?" And so I'm like, oh, maybe this is her dog. So I run out and I show her the picture. I'm like, "Is this one of your dogs?" And she's like, "Yes." Is that the, and I was like, because he's in our backyard. And she's like, "Is that the only one you have?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's the only one I have." I go, she's like, "They're all gone. I don't know where they went." And so I'm like, "Well, I don't know, but here's one. I have one." So we get him back. And while I am talking to her, Animal Services calls and they leave a message. And they say they saw my report of a found dog and it matches the description of a dog they are looking for, because earlier this morning, I don't know what time that was, earlier this morning, they picked up a pack of 5 dogs that were obviously pets, and none of them were chipped, but one of them got away from them and ran off, and they've been trying to find it, and it looked just like this dog. So I like go back to my neighbor who's completely freaking out and say, just so you know, animal control has 4 other dogs that they found with this dog, and this dog got away, so they're her dogs. Anyway, I have feelings about this. I'm not going to say. We're just going to say that was the story. That was my afternoon. That's why I haven't gotten any reading done. I will probably do some reading after my son gets home, whenever he does, which should be very soon. But camp was great. I put a few videos from camp up. It was, there were some things that were a little crazy because it's the first time they've had this camp in 3 years, that were, excusable. There were a couple things that were unexcusable, but I addressed those issues and let them know that that was not okay. Let's just say that. But my daughter, who didn't want to go to this camp in the first place, left the camp saying, "Oh, I think I'll go back next year." So I guess that was a success. Anyway, I read most of Hello Beautiful. I have just a little bit left. I am so confused by this book. I'm going to do a video when I finish this book. I'll probably finish it today and do the video tomorrow, and maybe I'll put it up Thursday. I honestly don't know whether or not this is a retelling of Little Women. Like, it's marketed as being a retelling of Little Women, or maybe maybe homage is a better word. I don't know. But then I heard that interview from the author saying that that was not intentional, that she didn't realize that was there till after she had written it. But I don't know how that can be reading this book. I'm very confused by it. Anyway, I am enjoying it. But I just have a little bit more to read. It's a pretty long book. I didn't read anything in Truly Devious just because the times I had to read, it was just easier to read at my Kobo. But that was my weekend. You saw a few little videos from it. So the dog is back home. We'll hear from him again at about 6 a.m. tomorrow morning with his 4 siblings. I actually don't. That kind of neighborhood noise does not bother me. So I'm fine with that. I'm just glad that he's back home where he was, although he was a very sweet dog and I don't normally like Chihuahuas. But anyway, that's what's going on with that. I didn't want to leave you hanging with that last kind of weird, abrupt video. So anyway, hopefully I will get some reading done today and we will check in later. Hello, today is the morning of Tuesday, May 9th. I have a little TED Talk and it is this. First of all, the dog's name was Tanner. I know you're all wanting to know that. And the TED Talk PSA has to do with that. And it is this. Please get your pets. I think it just applies to dogs and cats, but I could be wrong. But please get them microchipped. I can't remember in my last little vlog entry if I went through the whole story of what happened. I'm not going to do it here. It's kind of a crazy story. But the day would have gone differently. Maybe not for Tanner because of what happened, but for the other 4 dogs in that house, had they been microchipped. It is really easy to get, and it's really easy and inexpensive to have your pet microchipped. If you adopt a puppy or a kitten, it's usually part of the whale puppy, whale kitten plan. If you adopt from a shelter, it's usually part of the adoption thing. If you're outside of that, just take it to a vet and they can do it. Also, if you adopt a pet that already has a microchip, be sure you fill out the paperwork to make the claims so you can claim that pet, so that if they do get lost, they'll call you and not their previous owner. Our cat is an indoor only, well, she's an indoor only cat, but she gets supervised outside time. But we have her chipped too because she's been known to make a dash. You never know what's going to happen. It's just do it. Just want to put that out there. But it was really kind of fun to have a dog for a couple hours. It was such a sweet little pup. He was like totally, you could tell in that video, he's like totally jumping on me and wanting loves. We are not getting a dog anytime soon. It's not because we're against dogs or we don't like dogs. I think everyone in this family likes dogs. But there are some very good reasons why we can't have a dog right now. All of which have to do with us and not the dog. The biggest one is that, well, I like dogs, my husband likes dogs, my kids like dogs, my cat hates dogs, and actually she hates everybody, but she really doesn't like dogs. And I do believe that when you adopt a pet or you bring a pet into your family, they are a part of the family, and it's very irresponsible to bring in another pet when you know that's going to cause a lot of stress to your existing pet. So no dogs for us in the future, although I will gladly go on and love on other people's dogs. Anyway, I finished Hello Beautiful yesterday. I didn't get as much reading time because my usual reading time was taken up with the dog. It was really good. I'm going to do a video. I had to use Cawpile to come up with a rating for it because there's just some things in it that were kind of made my mind work. And I will go over that in the review, which you will have seen because this will go out on Friday, and the review that I haven't done yet, but will go out on Thursday. So you'll see it. Anyway, I started, once I finished Hello Beautiful, I just looked at my library list and chose the book that has the shortest loan left, which was, what's it called? Like Elena Again, something like that. It's a book about the woman in Argentina whose daughter was murdered and she wants to find out who killed her, and she has Parkinson's. I've seen it a lot on booktube. That one just I have 17 days left on my hold and I have 18 days on my other 2 library books. So that was the easy decision. Although I do need to get to all these books. Fortunately, the books that I have are all fairly short because I have to get to some of my NetGalley reading too. So anyway, that's what's going on reading wise. And life wise, we had a day with a dog. It's Tuesday, the kids are going back to school. It's foggy, but it's gonna get really hot here this weekend. So we'll see what happens. I may bring out my reading chair. I have a reclining sort of camp chair thing. That's my reading chair that I put in the backyard when the weather's nice. So I think it's about time for that chair to come out. So probably the next day or 2, I will do that, and I will have some outside reading time. Not my afternoon reading time because that's like too hot, but like in the evening sometimes, like before or after dinner, I'll go out and read for a little bit, which gives me some extra reading time during the day. So anyway, I'm off to talk about Hello Beautiful. So I will come back to this vlog later. Good morning. Today is Wednesday, May 10th. Hair's a mess. I have a hair appointment today. This is what it looks like before I go to the hair appointment. Thought I would do, oops, I'm crooked again. Fix that. I thought I would do a quick vlog now because I love my hairdresser. She does great coloring and she does great cuts, but like sometimes like after she does my hair, she does a quick style before I head out the door. Let's just say she styles my hair in a way I don't usually style it. And I'm like, really? It's fine because like, I just fix it. It's not a big deal. I don't really care about that. We got my stream with my coffee. But anyway, I'm here with a confession. I'm once again reading too many books. So I had like my core books, which was my print book, which is truly Devious. My ebook, which was Elena Knows. That's the actual title. I think I can't remember what I called it in like yesterday's blog, but it was wrong. My audiobook, which is The Reading List. and my short story collection, which is Other Terrors, and my year-long read, which is not going to be year-long, which is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. But I was having a little crisis yesterday because I have these NetGalleys I have to get to too. Plus, I'm starting a buddy read with Marcella and about 5 other people of East of Eden. So I needed to start that. So now I have added to my list, I have added East of Eden. And I have added the next book in my NetGalley queue that's coming up to be published, which is actually a Golden Age mystery by ECR Lorac, who I have not read. But I actually have some of her books. But I'm starting with like the 36th or something like that book in her series. So I'm really hoping this is one you can read out of order, because I'm really reading this one out of order. Anyway, so too many books going at once. My saving grace is that the next few Kindle books, or excuse me, Kobo books that I'm going to be reading there from the library are really short. So I'm hoping to get through those pretty quickly and still kind of keep the NetGalley stuff on the side. My hold for somehow I ended up #1 on the list for Tom Hanks' new book. So that hold came in. I think that's a pretty lengthy book. I haven't looked, but I have that sitting in my library queue too, because of course, all of my library holds, no matter what I do, come at the same time. So yeah. Another good thing about my hairdresser is I can read while my hair's like processing. She's fine with that. Like I talk to her while she's working on my hair, but when I'm just sitting there, I read and she goes and does her thing. So I should get some reading done. So I'm gonna work on Elena Knows, which I gotta be honest, this is a short book and I've heard good things about it, but I find it really boring. The only reason I'm continuing with it is it satisfies some of the requirements on some of my Storygraph challenges for like translated fiction and reading the world. So I'm reading it, call it good. I should finish it pretty quickly because it is a short book. And then I have, because of Murder or Horror Mayhem is all short works, I have a couple of those coming up too. So that's what's going on in my world. Maybe I'll do another vlog after. You can see whether it's my hairdresser and I were on the same vibe about the post hair stuff style, or if my hair's back in the ponytail. We'll see. Anyway, until this afternoon, adios. So actually the hair turned out pretty well. If I'd known that, I would have done a whole video about something today. Anyway, I finished Elena Knows this afternoon. I understand, I can appreciate the quality of this story, but man, it was boring. Whoa, that was a boring book. Anyway, but hey, I can knock some things off, a couple of my challenges. So I started reading The Deep by River Solomon. It's not really for any readathon or any challenge, but it came in and it's got holds on it. So I'm reading that before I read Come Closer by Sarah Gran. And so, yeah, that's what's going on in my reading. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to put my chair out tonight or not. We'll see. I don't know what we're doing for dinner yet because my husband is getting new tires on our car. So I don't know when he's going to be home. I don't have anything thawed. It's one of those days. So hopefully he can bring home dinner. We'll see. Anyway, so that is what's going on in my life right now. Decent hair, finished a boring book, start another book. There you go. And I will probably talk to you again tomorrow. Okay, so you saw a bit of Camp Yamhill, which is where I was Saturday, part of Sunday this week. It went a lot better than I thought I had feared it would. And not that I had any reason to think that well, I did have a few reasons, but they were addressed. So let's just say it's good. I had, part of it was just me being like, oh my gosh, I have to go camping because I'm not a camper. And then I was like really upset because I was going to miss the coronation. I have a degree in English history, so I love this stuff. I'm a royal watcher in that I like the institution. Like I like watching the institution, all the history. I don't have I have strong feelings about one person of the royal family, and they are not good strong feelings, Prince Pedo. But other than that, don't pull me into the William and Kate versus Harry and Meghan thing. I don't care. I don't want to get there. That's not me. I don't have any bad feelings about anyone other than Prince Pedo. So I enjoy it. I enjoy watching things like that. But then I realized that I'm on the West Coast. So actually Camp Yamhill wasn't conflicting with the coronation. I would just have to get up at 2 a.m. And I realized that I just really liked complaining about missing it, because when it came down to watching it or sleeping won out. So I watched it all on YouTube when I got home, and I watched the Royal Family YouTube channel because yes, they have one. So I could watch it without any commentary. It was really nice. Anyway, let me talk about what I am currently reading. Oh, I didn't talk about what I had finished. Let me get that 1 second. Spreadsheet here. Oh yes, so I have 2 books that I finished this week. And the first was Hello Beautiful, which I did a video review of, and I will put a card up here for that. I'm not going to say much about it because you can just watch that video. However, I will say that people seem to really like that. I don't do a lot of like video only, review only videos, and I got a lot of really good feedback for that. So I might start doing that from time to time when it's a book that I feel that I have things I want to say. And that's not every book. For example, the next book I finished was Elena Knows by, now I need to look up the author, Claudia Piñeiro. This is a book I've been seeing everywhere on BookTube. I believe it was nominated for the International Booker, although it was originally was published in Spanish in 2017. So I guess the translation just came out. I read it. I can recognize the quality of it and why it was nominated and the expertise in writing it, but at the end of the day, I was bored silly. But it was short and it fulfilled some requirements for some Storygraph challenges, so I finished it. There you go. I have nothing more to say about that book, so obviously not getting a video review. So let me talk about what I'm currently reading, and a lot of these you may end up seeing as video reviews. The first is my print book, which is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. This is, I am not sure, and I haven't really been able to figure out if this is middle grade or YA. It is the first, so it's a series, but the first 3 books in the series operate like a trilogy. I think that's important going in because I'm sure that will play a part into the end of the book and how it ends. So you just need to know there's more coming. My guess is once I finish the trilogy, it'll be more firmly in YA. Right now, where I am, it is more like older middle grade, young YA, which is perfect for readers like my daughter who have a really high reading level, but don't really like a lot of the material that you find in YA books. But I'm enjoying this. You can definitely see how Golden Age mysteries were a real influence on it, although there's still a lot of modern twists in it. The next book is on my Kobo, and it is The Deep by Rivers Solomon. Mermaid story. It's the one where the mermaids, or the mermaid-ish characters, are the descendants of like the pregnant enslaved women that they threw overboard on the boats because they want to deal with childbirth. It's horrific. It took me a while to get into this one. I'm not gonna lie. I spent a lot of time going, should I even read this? Because it just wasn't clicking to me for a while. Now I'm to a point now, and I'm expecting to finish this book today, hopefully. I am a point in it now where I am really enjoying it, but it took a long time for such a short book for me to get there. I don't think it was a problem with the book. I think it was just firmly in that sort of fantasy field that, as I've said before, that's not a genre I'm super comfortable with. So I think it was just a little extra step into that took me a little longer to adjust to. But I'm enjoying it so far. And then I also have, because I realize I have way too many NetGalley books, so I'm trying to kind of read those also. I'm devoting half an hour a day of reading time to NetGalley stuff right now. But I am doing a Golden Age mystery that is getting a reissue in the US through the British Library. Apparently it's been available in Britain for a while, but it's just now in June going to be released in the US. And that is Crook o' Lune by E.C.R. Lorac, who is an author I've heard about but had not read before. This is actually number 38 in her Robert MacDonald series, so not starting at the beginning with this one. However, I will say it's fine. It's not an issue. I haven't come across any point where I feel like that they're referring to past cases. Even in like the Perot series, the Perot books by Agatha Christie, which I am roughly reading in order. I do jump around a little bit, but roughly reading. I do feel like sometimes she refers back to what happened in previous books, but that hasn't at least happened so far in this one. This one's really got a great sense of place. It's in Lancashire. It's not as, I will say, it's not as stylized as Christie. The detective, Robert MacDonald, is just a guy. He's not like, he doesn't have a thing that kind of sets him apart. He's just a guy, which I like. It's different though, because I'm used to the ones where the detectives are something about them that's very different. But hey, I'm giving it a try. And then I have my short story collection, which is Other Terrors, an inclusive anthology. and I have a funny little story that came up yesterday with this. So I'm reading it, and there's some really good stories in here, but I came across one called Help, I'm a Cop by Nathan Carson. This is not an author that I knew, but I'm reading it, and he refers to my hometown, and I'm like, well, that's weird. But there are other cities in the United States that are named my hometown, so I didn't think about it. But then they said Washington County, which is the county I live in. I'm like, well, that's really weird. And then the bulk of it takes place in this town called Gaston, Oregon, which is this little town. I mean, I honestly thought the town was bigger than it was because, like, I had my husband drive me there one time because I was looking for a downtown, and it doesn't exist. It's like this little tiny town, but it's also like totally, if someone's going to write a story about this town, it's going to be a horror story. There's just, there you go. But anyway, I was totally like completely weirded out that like Gaston isn't a published story. So I like wrote my friend who lived for a little while in Gaston. She's my friend who went to Camp Yamhill with me. She was our other adult, and we actually drove through Gaston and like made comments about Gaston as we were driving through. So that was really weird. Anyway, it's a really fun series, and if you can kind of see how I've tabbed this out, the stories are not long. So it's a great way to find new authors. As I said, there's a lot of authors here. There's probably only like 4 or 5 that I'm familiar with, but so I'm really enjoying this. Okay, and then I accidentally started a week early. I thought I was late, but I was actually a week early. A read along for East of Eden, which I'm really enjoying so far. But now that I know that I'm a week early, I'm not going to read as much a day for the rest of the week. I'm going to read it in smaller chunks. I don't want to put it aside because I don't want to lose momentum with it, but I also don't want to read it and then just sit because I'm also losing momentum with it that way. So I'm just going to read it in smaller chunks between now and next week. But I'm really liking it. This is the only second John Steinbeck book I have read. The other one is Travels with Charlie, which I love. In fact, I have the audio of that. That's read by Gary Sinise, and it is one of, oops, losing books here. It's one of those audiobooks that I sometimes put on to go to bed. It's like a travelogue. It's a nonfiction, so you can just put it anywhere. But it's really nice. It's really good. Okay. Oh, and then I have my audiobook, which I'm still listening to. The reading list. I am glad that this copy came to me for 2 reasons. 1, I can hold it up in these videos. And 2, my discussion on the reading list is on May 21st. And then at these discussions, it's nice to have a physical book to kind of refer back to. As I've said, I've read this book before, so the audio is a re-listen for me. But it's nice to have a print to kind of look back when people say, oh, well, like on page 140 of my copy, and you can turn and see, which you can't do with an audiobook. But also the book cougars always take a picture like of everyone who attends. So we all hold up the book, and you can't hold it up if it's an audiobook. So now I have a book to hold up. So that's pretty cool. And then finally, still working on, obviously the e-copy of this baby. I am 62% of the way through, so I am still booking along. So I'm probably like, let's say I'm like this far through. I don't know. Actually, I'm more than that far through because I just read the last line and I remember that part. I'm really enjoying it. I will probably read some today, but then I won't read again until next weekend because my kids will be around and they are loud. So there you go. That's everything that's going on. This weekend is Mother's Day. I don't know how that's going to play out. I have an Amazon wish list because my husband, like, picking up subtle clues to get gifts that I like is not something that works. So I do put a list together, but then yesterday he said he didn't like my list. So I had to add some things to it. And I added some things which might make YouTubing, booktubing, and vlogging a little easier. So hopefully you will not just see this basic black background and the slightly shaky camera afterwards if he chooses to get me what I put on there. And then my daughter will be more back into her filming part of it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I have no, we'll see what happens. I like surprises, so I will be surprised by whatever he gets me. It is summer here. We have skipped over spring completely. We have gone from winter to summer. So I'm not complaining. We got a little taste of it a week or so ago, and it was shocking, but it was nice. But it's supposed to be, we're under heat warning actually for this weekend, which is like weird, but you know, it's not so bad. A couple years ago, we had a real heat wave in June where it was like 110 to 115 every day for a week. Right when my blueberry bushes were just starting to fruit up, so it killed them all, and we didn't have a good fruit crop that year. So I'm hoping that holds off this year. So our blueberry bushes will produce, and my daughter will eat all the berries before I get any, so then I will have to go to the store to buy some, as happens every year. Anyway, that's my vlog for this week. I don't want to make this super long, so I'm going to cut it off now, and I will talk to y'all later. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I am hoping to I have 2 tags that I need to do that I was tagged on, and I filmed one and then the file was corrupted, so I have to refilm it. So I don't know which tag is going to show up next week, but one of those tags will. And the other, so I was tagged by Priscilla and Randy. So if Priscilla and Randy, if one of you do not see your tag next week, it is coming the following week. No, it wasn't Randy. It was Bookish. There you go. It was the Rome tag, which that actually is the one that might show up because I've got ideas about that one right ahead. We'll see. Anyway, I have not forgotten everyone who tagged me. You will see your videos, just it might take a little while. And who knows, I might have a review of Truly Devious next week. We'll see. Okay, talk to y'all later. I really mean it this time. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, follow me. Everything's in the description box, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.